Greetings, YouTube! The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And today we're talking about the spell Staggering Smite. Back in the day when we reviewed this, we gave it a C+, but there is a new version out, and it has some pretty significant changes in it. So we're going to talk about the new Staggering Smite for 2024 versus the old legacy version of Staggering Smite. We're going to compare and contrast. We're going to talk about some new class interactions with the spell Staggering Smite, so on and so forth. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or a comment, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. All right, Staggering Smite is a 4th level spell that is usable by paladins and warlock hexblades. So over on the screen to my right, which I've got another screen, I can see it. So I've got these both up at the same time. So it's a 4th level spell, took a bonus action. So you took the bonus action, and then the next time you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack, during the spell's duration, your weapon pierces both body and mind. It did some damage, some extra damage, and then they had to make a saving throw. On a failed save, the target had disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks and couldn't take reactions until the end of its next turn. Not your next turn, but its next turn. So this was a 4th level spell, which was very high for a paladin. You had to be 13th level before you could cast this one as a paladin. It did last for a minute, so you cast it, and for 1 minute, when you hit with your weapon attack, that is a melee weapon attack, then all this stuff happened. We gave this a C+. It's a really high-level spell for what it does, which is okay. I mean, it's an average of about 14 points of psychic damage. There's very little that is resistant to psychic damage. And then there's a chance that you're going to stop, not necessarily stop it in its tracks, but do some stuff. All right, so that was the legacy version. Now let's take a look at the new version. By the way, the legacy version was an evocation spell, and the new version is an enchantment spell. So not sure why the original was an evocation spell, considering that it did psychic damage and it attacked the thing's mind and kind of froze it. But I think they corrected that. So the new Staggering Smite is a 4th level spell. I'm looking over here to make sure that you guys can all see it. There it is right there. New Staggering Smite is a 4th level spell. It's still usable by paladins and hexblade warlocks. It is a bonus action, and most of these like smite type spells for paladins have a little asterisk next to the bonus action. So it says which you take immediately after hitting a creature with a melee weapon or unarmed strike. So you hit, and then you use the bonus action to trigger Staggering Smite. So the old way, where you cast a spell and it lasts for a minute, and then when you hit with a melee weapon attack, you got to do this. Now it is, and it's a melee weapon or an unarmed strike, which means this could be used if you had levels in Monk as well. But you would have to, almost be a very high level character to kind of get that, because you can't get this spell until you're a 13th level paladin, or you'd have to have, you'd be about 10th level for a Monk Warlock Hexblade to get this to work really well. Verbal component, the duration of this one is instantaneous because you take it when you hit. So the target takes the extra damage, psychic damage, which is good, and the target has to succeed on a wisdom saving throw or have the stunned condition. Now, it's a wisdom saving throw. We like wisdom saving throws, and they have now changed this. So whereas before it was disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks and can't take reactions, now it's just the flat-out stunned condition. So if we look at stunned, let's click on stunned. You are now incapacitated, which means that you can't take an action, bonus action, or reaction. your concentration is broken, you can't speak, and if you're incapacitated when you roll initiative, you had disadvantage. Okay? So that's essentially everything else. That was from the old version. So you can't take reactions. That was all that it was. But now you can't take actions or bonus actions. You automatically fail strength and dexterity saving throws. That's a big deal. That is a massively big deal. And attack rolls against you have advantage. So again, incapacitated is you can't take actions, bonus action, or reactions. You can't actually attack. Your concentration is broken. You can't speak, and you get disadvantage on initiative rolls. And you fail dex saves, and everybody has advantage on you. Now that is, let's get back to Staggering Smite. That is a condition that you have until the end of your next turn. So this now the Paladin. So the Paladin hits, and until the end of your next turn. So it's a full round when this happens now. Because in the other one, it was its next turn. So you could hit it, and then on its turn, it could go right after you in initiative. And then at the end of its turn, all those effects go away. Now, they stay in effect for an entire round. So it is a good idea to let the rest of your party know that you have the spell, and it could put the stun condition on something so that any of those dexterity saving throws can come out. Again, it's strength and dex saves. So strength and dex saves, and failing either one of those dex saves for most of the spells that do have that are pretty nasty. They're very nasty. So you do want to let everybody know that is a thing. In addition, you can cast this spell at a higher level. It does an extra d6 of damage. If you cast it as a spell out above 4, Paladins only get up to 5, so they can do as much as 5d6 of damage. So let's take a look at just the Paladin itself. Here is the list. So here is the level list with the Paladin features table, and you're not getting a 4th level spell until 13th level, okay? However, the Warlock will get this spell at 7th level. So you could have a Paladin Warlock. Those things work together. Or you could have a Warlock Bard, and I'm going to bring this one up. Those things can also work together because Warlocks are based off of charisma. But to do this as a Warlock, you must be a Hexblade Warlock. So here's the Hexblade. And it probably is a good idea to get... if you're going to be a 7th level Hexblade, that means that you are going to have... Let's go back to this. If you're a 7th level Hexblade, you're going to have 6 Eldritch Invocations. So you are going to want to take the invocation that does give you a couple of attacks and also works well with your Hexblade stuff. Now, let's talk about Bards, because there is a Bard that goes well with this, and it's the Valor Bard. So you could be a Warlock Bard. Just need 3 levels of Bard to get the College of Valor. You could be 6 levels of Bard, so you get the 2 attacks that you can use cantrips with. So that would make you a 13th level character, 7th level Warlock, 6th level Bard. Again, these are all just kind of theory crafting for one spell to be able to optimally use that spell between 2 different classes. But the College of Valor gets this offensive ability and this defense ability. It goes well with it. They can use martial weapons. I think it would go well with the Hexblade. And it would go well with this particular spell. This stunning is nasty because of the failure of dexterity and strength saving throws, particularly strength saving throws. Automatically failing a strength saving throw is terrible. And by the time you're getting to the level where you're casting these spells regularly, there's going to be a disintegrate rolling around. And failing that dex save against Disintegrate is bad because it's a lot of damage. And if you go to 0 hit points with the Disintegrate, you're gone. So, all right. That, I think... Oh, and we need to give this a new grade. It is not a C+ anymore. I'm going to bring it up to a solid B because that makes sense. We're going to bring it up to a solid B. And, I mean, that's it. It's a solid B now because of the stun condition, which I think is awesome. You can only use it a couple of times, but it is what it is. It does last for a full round. That is what I have for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody